Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Uche. Today I have a great news for you. If you're working as an aged care worker, a personal care assistant, or even nursing support worker, this video is for you because the new immigration minister has announced new pathway for an aged care worker to get permanent residence in Australia. What it means is that if you're in or outside Australia, an employer can actually sponsor you under the employer's visa 482 labor agreement. This is a wonderful news, guys, and if this is the kind of news you want to hear, kindly watch this video till the end because I'm going to be discussing more about this. So last week, the new immigration minister announced this new pathway for permanent residence for aged care workers in Australia. And not just that, they are also thinking of increasing their salary due to the shortage in demand of people working in that sector. So they want to encourage more people to come in as an aged care worker or even personal care assistant. If you're in Australia and you're already an aged care worker, this is the time for you to start talking to your employer to see if you can get an employer-sponsored visa from them. Even if you're outside Australia and you're planning to come in as a carer, this is the right time as well for you to start gathering your documents and do assessment, okay? What this 482 labor agreement means is that an employer can actually sponsor you to come here and work under this sector. And this employer would be the one to take care of all your expenses. There are new immigration laws coming effect from this financial year, which is going to make 482 applicants to be eligible to apply for permanent residence after 2 years of working with that employer. To me, this is a great one for anybody going through this visa pathway. So another thing I love about these new changes or new pathways that they are bringing is that they are planning to put up a concession for English language proficiency. So you really don't need a lot of high English points for you to be eligible to apply for this. And they are also looking to put age concession that up to 55 years of age can also apply for this particular employer's labor stream. This is a good one. And another thing I love is that if your employer sponsor you and they apply for the visa on your behalf, your application will be prioritized, meaning that you will get your visa approved in no time. With this 482 employer's labor agreement stream, what you can do to get your permanent residence is just to work for that employer for 2 years. After 2 years, you are eligible to apply for your 186 employer-sponsored visa under labor agreements, which is a permanent resident. So they are really changing a lot of rules right now, which is favoring people whether you're outside or in Australia. So another thing again that you need to know, these new changes for aged care permanent residents is that you only need to have 1 year experience for your employer to actually sponsor you, and you would have at least certificate 3 in aged care or any of those occupations that they have listed here. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to be taking you guys to the Home Affairs website so we can read up on all the terms there and you guys can apply for this. This is a good one for anybody in this sector to use this opportunity and see if an employer can sponsor them under this labor agreement stream. So guys, what I did was to use my Google search and type in new aged care labor agreement, and as usual, like I always tell people, please always use the first one, which is the Australian Department of Home Affairs. They are the correct website for anything that has to do with Australian visa. We are in the Home Affairs website. Let us look at what they are talking about here. So here you will see the skilled migration program and you see the overview, what we do, recent and all that. So there you would see the new aged care industry labor agreement. So you can read about Australian aged care providers can now apply to access the new aged care industry labor agreement. The aged care industry labor agreement streamlines the recruitment of qualified direct care workers from overseas to work in the aged care sector. Employers can use this where appropriately qualified Australians are not available. Right now, you can see that even if you're outside Australia, you can actually move to Australia under this stream, okay? So the purpose of the aged care industry labor agreements apply for this and aged care labor agreement terms and conditions. So if you want to read more about that, you can go, but we can see the purpose. So the purpose of the aged care industry labor agreements is you can use the aged care industry labor agreement to sponsor overseas workers, very skilled shortage, that's the 482 visa, nursing support, personal care, age or disabled carer. So if you're here, this is the right time to start processing your document for assessment. You need to have made recent and genuine attempts to recruit workers from Australia before you can go overseas. That's what they are trying to talk about here. Also, overseas workers for permanent residents under this employer scheme. That's the 186 visa that I talked about. Workers must have at least 2 years of full-time work experience in Australia. The 2 years of this work experience is not tied to a particular employer or visa subclass. So you can be in any visa subclass and still apply. Applying for this aged care industry labor agreement. To assess the aged care labor agreement, aged care provider must first enter into an MOU with the relevant union. So what that means is that your company or the employer that needs to sponsor you must be in any of this union in Australia. Most aged care organizations here are already in a union, so I don't think that would be a problem. Aged care industry labor agreement terms and conditions. So assess the following concession to stand a skilled visa requirement: 2 years pathway to permanent resident through the employer's nomination scheme, streamlined visa nomination and priority visa application process, which I have mentioned, no post-qualification work experience required, which is a good one, English language concession for workers with relevant community language skills, which is okay, annual salary of 51,222 Australian dollars. The industry market rate, which is not bad as well. You need to have a SAT3 like I mentioned or equivalent, and you need also have 12 months of work experience or part-time equivalent, and you need to have a skill assessment from the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation, or you can also do Australian Community Workers. This is very important. I always tell people, for you to stand out, please do a skill assessment. I'm going to do a video about assessing authorities in Australia, so you have an idea where your occupation fall into. And they also mentioned that you need an English language proficiency of level at least 5 band. So this is not bad for anyone coming to migrate to a first world country. Getting a 5 band in English is not a big deal. This is an opportunity for you, if you're planning to come to Australia as a carer, to take this advantage of this new pathway to Australia to do the needful. All right, so if you enjoy watching this video, kindly share to your friend, subscribe, and give this video a thumbs up as usual, and I will see you guys in my next video.